San Francisco taking on the Giants for a 4-game set. Stephen Kolek will be going for the Pods tonight, while Logan Webb, the ace for the Giants, will be going for them. The Giants are currently minus 180 on the money line with the run total set at 7.5. And per Adam Schefter, 4-time Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow at age 29 has suddenly retired from the Detroit Lions. They will need to find a replacement there. Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival is happening June 20th through 22nd, featuring Walker Hayes, Cody Jinks, Alabama, and more. Tickets are available now at TemeculaValleyFestival.com. Powering the best events from start to finish, events.com.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres got back on track at Petco.
High drive to deep left field for Machado. It's back, and it is very gone.
Now it's a trip up to the Bay versus the Giants. Let's make up some ground in the West. STFC gets stingy with Austin FC.
Dos Acero at Snapdragon Stadium, and surely that's 3 points.
And it's official. The Scarlet and Black are headed to the Pac-12, or the Pac-8, or the Pac-10.
You don't know who you are anymore.
We'll react to the move and see what's next for San Diego State. Now it's time to get in the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, good afternoon and welcome in on a Monday here in beautiful San Diego. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We got you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And when I say it's a beautiful day, I don't mean this weird, humid, cloudy BS weather that we've had over the last 3 days. I mean, we got Dierks Bentley tickets to give away on the show today. Like my all-time favorite musician, all-time favorite performer, Dierks Bentley, is going to be in San Diego on June 19th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. You got a 4-pack of Dierks Bentley tickets if you call in at the proper time today. We'll let you know when to do that. We also have a 4-pack of San Diego County Fair tickets for the Summer Pet-tacular. Just keep it locked right here on San Diego Sports 760 for your chance to win. All right, busy show. Padres got 2 or 3 from the Pirates over the weekend. That's good. On Saturday, there were more hits thrown out in the stands than there were on the baseball field for the Padres. Rough night for them. Rough night for the guys in the stands, too. My God, Padre fan on Padre fan crime. Dudes were getting knocked out left and right. Insanity. We do have a set NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers are going to be taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That gets started on Thursday night. We got some NFL news coming out hot and heavy with Deion Sanders stepping on a podcast with a dude that he disrespected in the past, Asante Samuel Jr. You remember that NFL Network clip, Sammy, where Deion was calling him not the best corner in the league and Asante got all pissed?
It's tough when the greatest corner of all time calls you a bad corner.
Yeah, so we got a lot to get into today, and we will here on San Diego Sports 760. But first and foremost, Sammy Long got a haircut.
I did get a little
wow.
Get a little fade off the top. I got going to Vegas in 2 weeks, so I didn't want it to be, because when you first get a haircut, it's a little, for those of us that have long hair, people that just kind of get the same cut, I get it. But if you have I didn't even mean that as a shot, but when you have a little long hair, sometimes it can be a little too short, so you got to give 2 weeks so it kind of grows back a little bit.
I will say, if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that our buddy Gary Cooper has jumped on board of Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Had lunch with Gary yesterday, watched the Padres game with Gary yesterday. That is a great, great man. So if you need to buy a home, if you need to sell a home, if you need to refinance your home, get money out of your equity, one person for you to call. That is Gary Cooper, 888-858-376-1299. Give Gary Cooper a call or go to mountaintrustmortgage.com.
Gary Cooper, the man. Do you see I'm already catching strays on the text line?
That makes sense. What are people saying?
People are 619 says Sammy's long shots. Is that ever one? Hashtag fade Sammy. Let me explain something.
Look, you earned it.
I won last Thursday. I got everyone $200, hit a 4-legger, felt really proud of myself. We all know what happened on Friday when Ben had to switch, Stuart Skinner. We really won, but then Ben screwed it up. And then that really kind of sent us into bad mojo for the weekend. So indirectly, is it really Ben Fletcher's fault? I'm not saying it is. I'm just throwing it out there. Because when you win,
it's not my segment. That is Sammy's long shots.
When you win in gambling, it's because you're smarter and you know more than people. When you lose, it's always because of external circumstances.
Like Karl Anthony Towns.
Exactly. You can't control that.
Well, you don't have to worry about him anymore because the Knicks got bounced. Man, Celebrity Row is having themselves a field day. They are just crying. Miles Teller, Ben
You're going to miss Chalamet courtside?
Timothy Chalamet. Honestly, that was one of my favorite parts about the NBA postseason was kind of looking at him sitting next to his beautiful girlfriend, Kylie Jenner, and trying to make sense how that actually works out.
He's a movie star, man.
I guess.
Did you see what
Bob Dylan?
Did you see what she said?
No, what'd she say?
She only wore because he was up for all the awards for A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie. She only wore black dresses because she didn't want to take away from him. That was the big story on the E! Network this weekend.
Seen a lot of photos of Miss Jenner wearing a lot less than just a black dress.
Well, she didn't say it had to be completely closed. She just said there had to be a black article of clothing on her body.
That sounds good. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you from all of us. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Those Dierks Bentley tickets coming up within the hour. The San Diego County Fair tickets coming up within the next 2 hours. So keep it locked right here. Every single day on this show, we do something called the Big Three, where Sammy Long takes us through the top 3 stories in the world of sports. We got plenty to choose from today. Sammy, hit that button, baby.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, if you want to watch the show, you can do so on both YouTube and X. On YouTube, it is at San Diego Sports 760. Would appreciate your subscription there. We stay live till 2. John and Jim pick it up right after there. We do have confirmation that Jim Russell's back from Hawaii, so it will be a true John and Jim today.
Also, we'll get to this later in the show. I have some questions about that.
And on X, at Fletch and Sammy. Fletch and Sammy on X. We'd love a follow there as well. I don't think we sound like chipmunks today, so that's probably a winner.
Yeah, it's you take your wins when you can get them on a Monday.
Sammy, where are we starting today?
Let's start with those Padres. 2-3 over the weekend, 4-2 last week between Miami and Pittsburgh. If you could give a grade, what would you give them for the last week, Fletch?
4-2 over this homestand, right? I have that right? 4-2?
Yep, 4-2. 2-1 against the Marlins, 2-1 against Pittsburgh.
Man, I sure would have liked for it to be 5-1. Like, give yourself a fluky loss, but just understanding the schedule that begins today and how tough it gets for the Padres, 4-2 just is not good enough, especially with that effort Saturday night where they look like a different ball team. I was very happy with yesterday's performance. You get down after an early Manny Machado home run, you charge back in the 7th inning. That started to look like the Padres of the 14-3. That was nice to see, but it'd be tough to go higher than like a B bordering on B+. Bordering on B+.
I agree. Again, it wasn't a failure.
No, 4-2 is good. You take that in homestand.
You've won 3 straight series, but when we're comparing to the division, the Dodgers played the Guardians on the road and then the Yankees at home, and they had the same record of 4-2. Playing the Marlins and the Pirates, you were looking at possibly gaining a game there. You really felt like because of the lackluster competition that the Padres were playing, you felt like you could really kind of gain a game. They didn't, unfortunately. We're going to get this more a little bit next segment, but it was a weird week because you take the Tuesday where the Padres have one of the best comebacks, not only of the Padres season, but of the baseball season. Then Wednesday, you blow the lead to a Marlins team that you were up 5 runs in that game, I believe, 6-1.
Yeah.
And then Friday, I was at that game, extremely happy the Padres got the victory. For all being completely truthful, that was probably a ball, and it probably was 3.
It was a ball.
It was a ball. So now we're happy that didn't go that way, but who knows what happens there. Saturday was extremely lackluster, and then yesterday you kind of felt like you saw the Padres that were playing the first month with the rally in the 7th inning. But yeah, it's kind of hard to grade. I feel like we said Friday we wanted a sweep. They didn't get a sweep, so I can't give it an A. I would stick with you on a B minus.
I'm saying, yeah, B bordering B+. And it's tough yesterday. Like, we don't know the extent of Gavin Sheets. Is he going to be out for a long time? When you talk about offense for this team, the only instant offense really, I mean, outside of Manny Machado here recently, but the only consistent instant offense the Padres have had has been Gavin Sheets, which what a miracle that he's on the team. But he runs into that wall yesterday. That was a violent collision. I hope the wall's okay. But Gavin, they don't know if he has a concussion or not. It could very well end up he's missing 7 games because of this.
And with the next 2 games, because of not having the pitching advantage, you're really gonna need the Padres to be scoring a lot. Speaking
of left field, by the way, because that's where Gavin Sheets was playing, where he ran into the wall. There is a report out from Dennis Lynn as of this morning saying the Padres are back in the market for Jarren Duran, who, if you remember last year around the trade deadline, they were interested in him. And I think this year, it looks like that's a before the trade deadline target for A.J. Preller to fill that hole in left field. Because even when Gavin Sheets is playing in left field, it's not a good left field. So,
right, it's just because of his bat.
Right.
The left field has been a massive problem, and it needs to be addressed if this team wants a serious shot.
Maybe Jarren Duran.
Maybe Jalen Duran.
What's next?
All right, listen, NBA Finals are set. Oklahoma City, Indiana, a battle of the small markets, extremely small markets. So currently right now, the Thunder are open as -750 favorites to win the series, with Indiana being plus 525 for all our gamblers out there. If you were to bet on Indiana, that means if you put $100, you win 525. So massive underdogs. Do you think the Pacers are getting disrespected in the series or just right?
I don't hate that number. That's worth throwing a few shekels on, I'll tell you that. Look, Indiana's good, man, and they're ballsy. And I think Tyrese Halliburton can win you a couple games on his own. I would lean Oklahoma City in this finals. It is brutal that it's these two markets in the finals. I saw a tweet from our buddy Jared Smith, who's been on the show a couple times, and he said, I actually think this is going to be a pretty good finals. The only problem is no one's going to watch it. And I think that's true for a lot of this country, man. Sammy and I are going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. But I'm very, very curious to see what these numbers end up. Did you say plus 550?
Plus 525. Yeah. So basically they're over a 5-1 dog, which is crazy for an NBA finals.
I like that number.
I do too.
That's worth throwing some money on.
I think you and I might need to do a little bit of that because it feels like I agree with you. Certainly the NBA is not happy with the ratings.
Oh, they're pissed.
Not going to be big ratings.
This is going to be a disaster.
It's going to be a disaster in terms of the ratings. You wanted the Knicks, you wanted the Lakers, the Celtics, the Warriors. You wanted a big Miami, Dallas.
Honestly, anyone but these two teams.
Yeah.
Just name two other cities.
Now, I do think, so something you just said, I think on the court, it actually might be a fun series. I think that the Pacers are getting disrespected. If you had a gun to my head, yes, I'd be picking Oklahoma City to win the series. I do think the Pacers are going to win a few games. I actually, right now, I'd probably put Thunder in 6. I think they get a couple in Indiana. But you're talking about two teams that has one superstar. Shea has more than Tyrese Halliburton in terms of has won the MVP, but Halliburton's ascended into that. And then just two really complete teams. I do think the Pacers, not to have a pun, pace of play at being number one in the NBA could give the Thunder some problems. They haven't really faced a team like that yet that can get out and run like they do. They usually just run teams off the floor. But I hope it's a good finals. I hope the only thing the NBA needs to push is the fact that you're getting the coronation of a new superstar, whether that be Shea, who won the MVP and then wins a final on top of it, or you have Tyrese Halliburton, who went from being voted the most overrated player before the finals to then winning a championship. That would be a pretty fun story.
And hitting big shot after big shot on his way to being there. Look, Tyrese Halliburton is who the NBA needs to be pushing out there more than anyone right now because he has that vibe. He has that little bit of X factor, and we'll see what they do over the next few days. But Thursday also feels like it's too late for this thing to start. Like it needed to start tomorrow.
100%.
I don't know why the NBA sets the schedule beforehand because you never know what the conference finals are going to look like. But you had to move this thing up, man. This should be starting on the Tuesday. Immediately after. We got time for one more small one, Sammy, if you got another one.
Okay. Big fight night on Saturday.
Huge.
Sugar Sean O'Malley fighting Merab Dvalishvili. I hope I said that right. The first fight, Sean was very lackluster. Dvalishvili won a decision at the Sphere, actually. It was the first fight at the Sphere. How excited are you for this Fletch? Do you think Sean's got a shot? He's a plus 300 dog right now to Merab.
Look, Sean got tired in the last fight. We all know exactly what happened. Merab is called the Machine, and he was very machine-like in how he destroyed Sugar Sean O'Malley in that one. And I'm a Sean fan. I love the way this dude promotes himself, the way he fights. It's fun. You're always ready for the knockout, but Merab just never gave him a chance to. My huge hope, and we have no way of knowing until the fight begins, is that Sean has spent the last months and months and months training, cardio, trying to get into that same shape because Merab has kept that up. That's literally what he does. He is the machine. He can take punches. He doesn't get tired. That's what his entire career has been built on. Can Sugar Sean match the cardio that Merab is going to bring on Saturday? If he doesn't, this fight's going to go exactly the same way as the last one.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm really excited for this one. It did feel like Sean's had a funny career because he beat Peter Yan, and a lot of people thought Yan should have won that fight, even though I think Sean landed the more damage in that one. But Yan, if we're going off the scoring system, probably won some more rounds. And then the fight against Aljo Sterling, when he absolutely flattened him in the second.
That was the championship fight.
That was championship fight. He was a dog. He said after he actually was injured and had he gone to the mat, he would have been screwed. He didn't wrestle all training camp. This one, it did feel like with Merab, he was just waiting to land his shot, like feeling he could land his shot, and he got so behind on the scorecards, losing the first 2 rounds, that Merab was just able to kind of evade him all night. I do think if Sean starts faster, if he could come out and win the first round and make Merab have to come to him and kind of be able to use his power as a weapon going off the back foot, I think it could be a really fun fight. And him I checked, it's not plus 300, it's plus 240. Could be some good value there. Getting him in there.
I like it. All right, good stuff. Dirks Bentley tickets coming up soon. A 4-pack for out of the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Mark Willard, old friend, going to be joining the show coming up at 12:30 today. Talk some Padres and Giants. and we got plenty more to get to. But let's stick with the Padres coming up next, because I think some interesting things happened over the weekend, both in the stands and on the field. Let's discuss what went down at Petco Park coming up next on the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch when you do. That's FLETCH. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. An entry is just picking more than or less than on players' stat projections. Like Ellie De La Cruz, he's playing against the Brewers today. Will he get more than or less than 1.5 total bases? Manny Machado tonight, more than or less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. That's how easy it is on Prize Picks. You just got to download the app and use promo code Fletch, because then you can start creating entries for anything. We were just talking about the fights coming up this weekend. That is where I have the most fun on Prize Picks. Setting a lineup for MMA before the day even begins, and then throughout the day you're watching to see whether your fighters did better or worse, and more than or less than. Download Prize Picks today. Take advantage of the promotions. Taco Tuesdays, Flex Fridays. Every once in a while, they throw on a Hot Dog Wednesday. You never know when that's coming up, but they are discounted projections for you to have an easier time winning. I love this app. I've played all the daily fantasy sports apps. Prize Picks is the one I've stuck with. I've been with the company since November 2023. Got no sign of stopping anytime soon. Prize Picks is my go-to, as well as tens of millions of active members. Billions of dollars have already been awarded in winnings. And when you do win, they got easy ways, fast withdrawals, easy transactions with Apple Pay, MasterCard, Venmo, and more options for you to get that money from your Prize Picks account into your bank account in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. We're going to give you a lineup coming up at 12:45 in long shots so you can run your game all season long on Prize Picks. San Diego Sports 760 and iHeartRadio present our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the biggest names or biggest music event of the year. Legendary performance from the biggest names in music and once-in-a-lifetime collaborations. We are going to announce the complete lineup for this year's show and let you know how you could win tickets before they go on sale. Everything you need to know happening tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Another once-in-a-lifetime music event from iHeartRadio and San Diego Sports 760. Couple things here. We're going to get to the Padres in just a second. Dierks Bentley tickets we're going to give away right after we chat with Mark Willard, which is coming up at 12:30. But do you remember Tiffany Gomez, Sammy? Do you remember that name?
I don't. Who's Tiffany Gomez?
Tiffany Gomez was the plane lady, the one that went viral for yelling out, "What is that?" Or what? I don't remember what she yelled.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
That guy's not real. That mother effer isn't real. That was what she was saying. So she's going viral once again because some Twitter account posted a picture just of her and says, did we ever figure out what she saw? And now I know because we talked to him about it. Carrot Top was on that plane.
Carrot Top, dude, that is so weird you just said that because I was talking about going to see Carrot Top last night.
I've heard it's like still the best show in Vegas. It's been running for like 30 years. But Carrot Top was on that plane sitting a few rows in front of her. And so that when he came on our show, we had just managed to bring up the fact that the plane lady still existed, is still out there. And he said, yeah, I was on that plane. I was just a few rows in front of her. And so I think that she saw Carrot Top and was like, what the hell is that? That's not a real person. That dude's a lizard, which would make sense. But she has now quote tweeted and said, maybe I'll announce what I saw tomorrow or something even better. And then just put the little chain link emoji. Is that code for she's releasing an OnlyFans page?
Maybe. I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
Or is that code for like a podcast? I don't know exactly what that means.
She's really leaving us in the balance there. I don't know what. Yeah, like, I got to watch the video again. It's been too long.
That mother effer isn't real. That mother effer
That's gonna be a drop that's going to get recorded.
Isn't real. God, what a crazy time that was in life. When the plane lady took over the world. Who knew? All right, Padres, over the weekend, they win 2 out of 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They win Friday night when Sammy was there. You have a nice time at the ballpark?
Yeah, it was exciting to see Suarez come in. Crowd was electric. Fireworks after the show was.
I saw that on social. The people were stuck around for a while. Did you stick around?
We did stick around. Yeah. We stuck around mainly because the lady had handed us. We actually got a couple free beers at the thing because they messed up the order. So we were like, probably should wait it out a little bit.
That's cool. And then Saturday night, Padres get 2 hits in the game. Offense goes completely anemic. Nobody's even close to the ball. And look, Pirates had a good pitching performance. Sure. I think that was more on the Padres than it was on the Pirates. But what was happening in the crowd on Saturday night was Padre fans swinging on Padre fans. Like, I get it. Sometimes you get a couple beers in you and all of a sudden everybody around you looks like a punching bag. But if you're going to swing, can we swing on a Pirates fan? I mean, come on. Like, seriously. Like, we don't need brothers fighting brothers here. Yeah. I don't know.
No, it's I
don't condone fighting in any sense of the word.
We all know.
But if you are gonna fight, why are you fighting the Padres fan 2 rows in front of you? Come on.
Yeah, it's
These were swings too. Did you see the video?
Yeah, they were getting after it, man.
Gets knocked.
It's like what is going on? I mean, SDFC, someone had a text about that, and they banned I think like 34 people, something like that. And so everyone take a beat.
Let's take a breath because sooner or later someone's gonna get killed, man. Someone's gonna go over the edge of one of these railings, like we saw with the Pirates fan. I know that wasn't a fight, but he falls off after being too drunk. He ends up in the hospital for like weeks. Let's take a deep breath. I'll understand, like we're there watching a baseball game. I'm not trying to preach to anyone. You're all adults. Make your own decisions. I would just say if you're swinging, let's not swing at fellow Padre fans.
Well, it sucks. Like you go to the SDFC one, they got a huge victory. Yeah, and so but that's not what made SportsCenter was the fact that there was a 34-person brawl. 30 people got banned and arrested. It kind of takes away from San Diego and San Diego sports, and it's a shame because it is such a great sports town.
And this is national news this morning. That Saturday night there was a melee at Petco Park, and the pictures are all of Padres guys wearing Padres jerseys. Like, give a better name to our city, man. Come on. That's all I got to say about that. Yesterday, Padres, I was actually pretty impressed by the performance because Manny Machado hits the early home run, which was great. And then the Padres fall back behind and the pitching hasn't been, Vasquez really struggled yesterday. But as the game progresses, Padres fall behind again. And then the 7th inning, they get that never say die mentality. They walk a few times, they get some singles, they play a little small ball. and then they get the lead right back. They hold it and win the game. It's huge. When you see the Padres playing like that, you know they're in the right window. And Manny Machado had a quote after the game, which I thought was spot on for what these Padres have been. He said, I mean, just the way we won, I think was huge. No matter the victory, I think it was just the way we played baseball. It was the key. We got to continue doing that. It's been a rough couple weeks. It's been a rough month, but this group grinded it out and we can keep continuing to grind. You better hope you put something together for these next couple of weeks. Sammy, you want to lay out the schedule here? Because the Padres are in some trouble, man.
So, I mean, just look at the schedule. You have 4 games set against the Giants, which is huge because I'll lay into the division in a second. Then you got the Brewers, solid ball club, Dodgers at home. Then you're in Arizona. Then you're in LA for a 4-game stretch. And then Kansas City comes to town. So they've been playing good ball. You don't really get a break until that national game, who also, by the way, has a bunch of former Padre prospects. So I'm sure they'll want to prove something. But I mean, look at the NL West right now. So Dodgers lead it. Padres are 2 games back, 1 game up on San Francisco. The Diamondbacks are 8 games back. They got sadly bad news. Looks like Corbin Burns, he got taken off the mound yesterday. Said his elbow, you could read his lips, said it was dead. And they're 8 games back, which is going to be tough to make up. But I mean, you look at the pitching matchup. Kolek against Logan Webb tonight. It's going to favor the Giants. The Padres are it's still undecided. I believe they're either bringing up Waldron or that other kid out of the minors tomorrow.
Maybe Yu Darvish comes back. Who knows?
He's on a bullpen session. So I was listening to John on the wrap-up show last night. So he's on a bullpen session, I believe today or tomorrow, probably one later this week again. Everything goes well. Probably looking at starting, if everything goes perfect, June 15th, June 16th, something like that. So really crucial stretch. Would love to build on the Giants. You already have a 2-game lead over them on tiebreakers. Big deal this week.
Big deal. The next 13 games, man, are brutal, and they know the Dodgers are on the other side of that. So big stretch for the Padres. Hopefully it all goes well. We'll break down this Giants-Padres series coming up next with Mark Willard, who does radio up in the Bay Area. And you know him from back here on this time slot when it was Mark and Rich back in the day. But coming up next on the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760, Mark Willard joins the show live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival. The Padres, after winning 2 of 3 over the Pirates over the weekend, are back in San Francisco for a 4-game set against the Giants. Logan Webb will be going for San Francisco, while Stephen Kolek will be going for the Padres. The Giants are currently minus 180 on the money line, and the Padres currently lead the second spot in the division by 1 game. And Frank Ragnow, 4-time Pro Bowl center from the Detroit Lions, has announced his retirement at the age of 29. Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival is happening June 20th through 22nd, featuring Walker Hayes, Cody Jinks, Alabama, and more. Tickets are available now at TemeculaValleyFestival.com. Powering the best events from start to finish, events.com.
San Diego Sports 760 here on a Monday. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then, and joined right now by an old buddy, Mark Willard. He's up in the Bay Area, 95.7 The Game. He does Willard and Dibs up there 2 to 6 every single weekday. Hi, Mark. How are you, pal?
My boys, how are you two doing? Everybody doing all right?
We're doing good. We are doing good down here. I know 2 things about Mark. Well, I know a lot about Mark, but 2 main things about Mark. He's an excellent dad, and he's an excellent golfer. Mark, I don't know if you saw this weekend, Scotty Scheffler, after he wins, which is like his 3rd win in 4 tournaments, insane. He gets greeted coming off the 18th green by his beautiful wife and baby, and she says immediately as she's handing off the baby, sorry, he just pooped, and it's a bit of a blowout. And so you see the stains all the way up his shirt. Is there anything more dad than coming off the course as soon as you're done just to be handed a poopy diaper?
No, I think parenting is probably the only thing in the world harder than golf. And so, Scott, I'm surprised Scotty didn't go tee off again. He probably just, that was nice of you to say I'm good at both things. I think those are the 2 things in life that even when you're good at them, you feel like you suck at them at the end of every day. No matter how you do, you feel like you suck at the end of the day. So it's nice of you to say that, even if I don't always feel that way.
You are good at both those things. I've met your kids. They're all good. Mark, we got Giants and Padres squaring off over the next 3 days. Both teams having nice starts to the season. If you just look at the record, how do you see this thing shaking out over the next 3?
Well, I want to start out with a question for you guys, because I know how the Giant fan base feels. And obviously, first and foremost, with the schedule being the way it is now, we don't get to see each other nearly as much as we used to, which I think is just such a bummer. So this is the first series of the year where I think Giants fans are like, okay, right? The Padres or the Dodgers, like, let's get this thing started. And it's crazy that it's taken this long. So that's fun. But because we haven't seen each other that much, I'm looking at the standings, and I'm looking at one particular line, and it's called run scored. And I am trying for the life of me to figure out how the Padre number is lower than the Giants number. Because up here, we feel like the Giants kind of score maybe once or twice a week. Like, it is they just had a 9-game road trip where they allowed 18 total runs on the trip and still lost more games than they won. So their offense is in a bad way. I know the weather's starting to warm up. That's usually when things get going. And the 2 ballparks are obviously not the easiest places to hit. Can you guys tell me how the hell the Padres have scored fewer runs than the Giants, because the Giants don't score runs?
Yeah, I can, Mark. So before May 10th, the Padres actually were averaging the most hits per game of any Major League Baseball team. It was a hit parade every single game. They weren't hitting home runs, but they were getting guys on base, scoring like crazy. Remember that game up in Colorado? Padres won 21-0, I think was the final score. They had a boatload of hits. But then since May 10th, they have not hit at all. And they all went cold. Jackson Merrill was hurt for a little bit, so he wasn't hitting. Fernando Tatis Jr., who started looking like an NL MVP this year, he stopped hitting. Manny Machado, nowhere to be found. Gavin Sheets was the best hitter on this team for about a month. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, I feel it. I think the Giants fans have been looking at the lineups, the other lineups in the NL West, for the last 3 years or so, at least, with a lot of jealousy. You've got Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and Tatis and Machado and Corbin Carroll, and you just look around the division and go, man, who's our bopper? And obviously the Giants have one of the top 5 run producing players in the league, but his name is Wilmer Flores, and they're like, that's not who we thought was going to be our big run producer. So anyway, put those two teams together and then add in this ballpark and this pitching. And, you know, I think if you can score 4 runs in a game in any one of these 4, you're going to be in good shape.
Mark, what do you think about Willy Adames? I know he was the kind of big offseason acquisition, but struggled a little bit. Do you think that he's really just a little bit of a slump, or do you think this is kind of a thing for the future?
It's getting to be in that sort of concerning level. There's no question. People are starting to get a little uncomfortable with it. They really want to love Willy Adames because everything he brings outside of the world of statistics, literally A+, just first rate. Like his clubhouse presence, the teammate that he is, all of these things, the culture changer, kind of along with, you know, Buster Posey taking over the team. That's his big signing. All of those things are absolutely where you want them to be. And I do think that those things have affected why the Giants have the record that they have and why they've gotten off to a good start in addition to pitching. But at a certain point, for $181 million, you'd like some clutch hits. You'd like fewer strikeouts. You'd like the ball to go over the fence a little bit more. He's notoriously a slow starter, and he is getting used to the heavy air, at least early in the season, of San Francisco. And so I still have plenty of optimism surrounding him, but I do think Giants fans need to go through the process of maybe adjusting their expectations, because he came in here and people were thinking, okay, this is the 3rd hitter, the 4th hitter for the next 6 or 7 years. And I don't really know that Willy Adames is that. He's a plus hitter for sure. He's a good enough defender and obviously wonderful in the clubhouse, but he has not shown those first 2 pieces of the puzzle yet. And patience is just starting to wear thin right now.
Mark Willard, he's up in the Bay Area now. You hear him on 95.7 The Game. Willard and Dibs every day from 2 to 6. Mark, we are 93 days, 11 hours, 21 minutes, and 2 seconds away from kickoff of the 2025-26 NFL season, and there has not been a team outside of the 49ers who have made such a splashy and divisive decision as they did this year, paying Brock Purdy the money they paid him. You've been taking phone calls on this for weeks. I'm sure you have. What is the overall take from your point of view and the Niners fan point of view on Brock Purdy's contract?
Well, I think it calms people down a little bit that he didn't get 60 or he didn't even get north of 55. I think it's funny, quite frankly, that people nitpick about this stuff. We had TJ Hushmanzada on the show last week, and he had, kind of gotten a lot of run for a take that he had on FS1 earlier in the day, where he was like, I would not have given him 53. I'd have given him 47. And I'm like, where the hell did you get that number? Like, what does that have to do, quite frankly, with anything? Why is your team suddenly now just got all kinds of room because you only paid him 47? I thought the whole thing, quite frankly, was handled with a lot of maturity by Brock Purdy and his agent, because while he got paid, yes, and you can still, for some reason, have long arguments about whether or not he's a good player, even though he's achieved a ton. You factually cannot argue with this. He took less money than some players who are worse than him. Period. He is better than Trevor Lawrence. He has performed better than Trevor Lawrence. Period. And I understand that Trevor was the first pick in the draft and Brock was the last. I get that. But the bottom line is he is a very good quarterback. This is what quarterbacks cost. And he could have tried to squeeze for every dollar and put this later into the offseason, and he chose not to do that, which is a big deal around here, because the last two, at least, off seasons have really been disrupted by high-profile holdouts, Nick Bosa followed by Brandon Ayuk. This year, they've got none. So apparently, with OTA starting, the vibes are turned all the way up, and I think that his leadership was really evident with the way he did this.
Where do you think the Niners stack in the NFC West? I know the Rams kind of reloading everybody. The Cardinals had a nice draft, and then Darnold's up there in Seattle. Where do you think they slide in?
They should win the division, quite frankly, and I say that knowing it's a football season and there are going to be all kinds of twists and turns. I really respect what the Rams are doing, but here's the problem. The Rams have the first place schedule and the Niners have the last place schedule. And I've done this a couple of times on the air. I'll try to do it from memory. But check this out, guys. What do Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, and Jared Goff all have in common.
They don't play the Niners this season.
Yeah, damn right. They do not play the San Francisco 49ers. So you've got Robert Saleh coming back as the defensive coordinator. I think he's wonderful. And yes, there's going to be a lot of new names in there, but it's a system that has worked in the past. I have a lot of faith in him, and he doesn't have a whole lot of good quarterbacks that he needs to game plan for this year. To me, that's going to set the 49ers off as long as they're healthy in a really good space as far as what their final record's going to be.
Well, don't worry, Mark. Now we're only 93 days, 11 hours, 17 minutes, and 25 seconds away from kickoff of the 2025-2026 NFL season. Good hearing from you, man.
We're getting there, man.
I appreciate you a ton, Mark. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you soon.
Anytime, boys.
All right, there he goes. Mark Willard. You hear him now up in the Bay Area, 95.7 The Game, 2 to 6 on weekdays. Willard and Dibbs, very, very good show. All right, we promised it. We're delivering it. Dierks Bentley, 4-pack of tickets to go see him out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on June 19th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Caller number 7, you're going to the show, and you're going to be going to the show with me because I'm not missing it. 877-767-4760. Your chance to win some Dierks Bentley tickets out in Chula Vista coming up on June 19th. We will be right back after this. Time for Long Shots, Monday edition, coming up next on San Diego Sports 760. Download the Prize Picks app today. When you do, you're going to want to use promo code FLETCH, FLETCH. And if you know ball, there's only one series left in the postseason, the championship officially on the line. That means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. This year's basketball playoffs are headed toward crowning a first-time champ in more than 50 years. Don't miss your last chance to cash in on history with Prize Picks. Pick more or less on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and more for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. We are going to gift you a lineup coming up in about 5 minutes called Long Shots, where Sammy Long puts a little lineup to the test. You can use that as your first $5 entry in order to get the $50 bonus. Just use promo code FLETCH when you sign up. Prize Picks, they put their members first. All withdrawals fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes, and the app is super easy to use. To create a lineup, all you got to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win some major cash on Prize Picks, which offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. That's guaranteed. We are gifting you that $5 lineup coming up in about 2 minutes. Keep it tuned here on San Diego Sports 760 and download Prize Picks so you can run your game all season long. Shout out Ruben. We're going to be partying out on in Chula Vista together when Dirk Bentley's in town. That's coming up on June 19th, I believe, out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Ruben's going to the show. We'll have tickets to that all week long here on San Diego Sports 760. Coming up in hour number 2 today, we are going to have a 4-pack of tickets for the San Diego County Fair, of which for the first time in his entire life, Sammy Long is going to be going this year.
Yeah, can you believe that?
I'm going to put you on the tilt-a-whirl with my wife. I hate that roller coaster, but she loves it more than anything.
I'm not a big roller coaster guy, but I'll go.
I'm a roller coaster guy. I'm not a tilt-a-whirl guy. It's like a roller coaster designed to make you sick.
Is that the one where they like flip you around and it's all the different?
No, it's like on a disc. It's like a Frisbee that's tilted at a 45-degree angle almost. And then everyone's sitting in it and you just you spin on your own little Frisbee and then the big Frisbee's also spinning around. It's my wife's favorite thing in the world.
I take it you weren't a big teacups guy at Disney.
Oh, God, no. No. I still won't go on them. But my wife makes me go on the tilt-a-whirl every year. So, Sammy, you are going to be stand-in this year. You can go on the tilt-a-whirl with her after you eat a bunch of, deep fried Oreos and stuff. Maybe some deep fried butter.
What's your go-to at the fair?
I like the frog legs.
What?
Yeah, they deep fry frog legs every year.
I'm not going.
It just tastes like pancakes.
If your ass is eating, then why don't you just eat pancakes?
Because it's the fair.
If your ass is eating deep fried frog legs, I am not going.
I mean, I've only done it once, and I did it more as like, oh my God, frog legs, and then I ate them, and it tastes like pancakes. Like it just tastes like batter.
That's an aggressive choice.
It's meat.
Also, aggressive choice for the digestive tract.
No, it was fine. I felt great.
You felt great. No one can feel great about themselves after they eat fried frog
People
legs.
have survived on frog legs, Sammy.
Well, yeah, but are you that dire? Are you out in the wilderness needing to scrap for food?
I think I'd do pretty well on a loan. All right, I think I would be.
That's
bailing in.
What makes you think that
hours.
you do so well on that?
I would not do well on it at all. I love that show though. All right, every day around 12:45, we do something called long shots, where Sammy builds out a lineup. The goal is to make us all some money, and honestly, he has done a pretty good job. Like I know we like to joke #fade Sammy, stuff like that. I do think overall you're positive. It's not like he wins every game.
I am positive.
And he puts a lot of streaks together of losing a lot, but he's had a couple of
we have to
streaks.
remember what the bid is. It's called long shots. If I was picking, if we had regular gambling on like we could just pick money lines and I lost 7 straight days, I would be coming on here apologizing.
Right, but we live in California. You got to be creative.
Dude, the day that I will day that it becomes legal, I can't even I will probably break down crying on this show in happiness.
I do think we need to do a special edition long shots from Vegas where you and I go before the NFL season begins this year. And you and I put in maybe 2 or 3 season-long parlays on division winners.
I love that. Maybe
NFC championship winner, AFC championship winner.
Maybe we can take bets from listeners.
Maybe. You never know. But I think that would be fun to do. But today is today. Today is June 2nd. Holy crap, it's already June. We're halfway through the year. And it's time for long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Where are we going today, Sammy?
All right, so we have a 3-leg.
The sports landscape is drying up a little bit.
So I only put 3 together here because we're getting to the back page a little bit.
Have baseball only tonight? Is there a hockey game?
No, there's hockey. Hockey starts Wednesday. That we'll definitely have some of that when that gets going in the NBA Finals. We have a little French Open.
Ooh, tennis
this one today. We got a Yannick Sinner on right now, about to beat Rublev, like I know what that is, but Sinner's a beast. Okay, all right. We have 2 MLB picks, one tennis pick. So starting with the MLB pick, Tyler Anderson, Angels in Boston, 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. We're going more than. He had a really nice outing against the Dodgers. He only had 4 strikeouts in that game, but got a lot of ground balls, was really effective against that lineup. Had 3 strikeouts against the Yankees, so he missed on the last 2. But having watched him a lot recently, he's been a very good pitcher. They let him go for a lot of length in games. I think he gets over here. I think they're baiting us with the fact that he hit the under hit in the last 2 outings, but he's been really nice. I like Tyler Anderson. The Angels have been pretty hot recently, pretty solid team in the MLB, surprisingly. And playing Boston, I think it's a fun game tonight. I think Tyler Anderson, more than 4.5 pitch strikeouts.
Okay.
Also, the lefties have to figure out sometimes for opposing hitters who don't see him much. Okay. Jaron Duran. We were talking about him earlier.
Maybe future Padre.
A lot of reports going around. AJ Preller kicking around, needing a left fielder. This would be an amazing ad.
Here, I'll read the report so we make sure we have it right. It was from Dennis Lynn earlier this morning. No, of course it's right here. Here we go. Difficult June schedule could amplify multiple needs, but the Padres again showing interest in Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran. Sources telling The Athletic San Diego's hole in left field was obvious before Gavin Sheets crashed into a wall. Now it's even more so.
So trade rumors, wanting to show out, say I'm worth that, I'm like that. What are you missing out on? We're going to go a little red demon today, Fletch. We're getting a little aggressive. More than 2.5 total bases in this game. I realize I just picked Boston and the Angels, so that game's going to be on the marquee tonight. During more than 2.5 total bases, red demon. Let's go to the French Open. Francis Tiafoe, 16.5 total games won, more than him and Tommy Paul are two Americans who are in the quarterfinals at the French Open. This is the first time this happened in a long time. Tommy Paul, I believe, is playing Alcaraz. That's kind of a tough draw. But Tiafoe's got the 7th seed in this tournament. 16.5 total games won. He's a power hitter in tennis. He's really good. American guy. I think we're going more than 16.5. And guess what? So hopefully both of these hit, Anderson and Duran. And then tomorrow at 4:20 in the morning, Fletch. 4:20 in the morning, this game will be happening with Francis Tiafoe. I'll be up watching it, sweating the bet.
Not for me, obviously, but for listeners out there who might be a little confused, how do you spell this gentleman's name?
Francis, Frances.
Found him.
And Tiafoe, Tiafoe. He has a chain he wears called the Big Foe.
Tomorrow morning, 4:20 a.m. against Lorenzo Musetti.
We're gonna have one American move on. Tommy Paul, unfortunately, probably getting beat by Alcaraz, number 2 seed in the whole tournament. Tiafoe, I'm liking. He's very good. Let the last game extend a little bit in the last set, but Tiafoe.
You big tennis guy?
This weekend, I was actually watching a lot of it. I enjoy. I'm not acting like I'm some tennis expert, but I do enjoy watching some tennis. Tennis is fun, man.
Are these all on clay courts?
Well, the French Open. This is one of the Grand Slams. This is why I have it on right now. There's nothing else on.
Oh, I'm confused.
Yeah, so the cool thing with the clay though is that you can see where the ball goes out because you don't have to go to VAR.
Tennis has had that technology, by the way, for like 20 years, and somehow it's not in the NFL or Major League Baseball.
It is wild. Like you go to, what's weird? I was also watching earlier, and like tennis crowds are quiet, very etiquette game. Obviously, golf's different, but like fights in overseas, they're quiet during it. Where in American crowds, everyone's like yelling the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. So like boxing matches or UFC fights in America, you notice like in Vegas, they'll be yelling the whole time. People will be yelling stuff at them. And in like overseas, everyone will be quiet unless something big happens.
Huh. I did not know that. I guess, yeah, when you watch the fights every once in a while now in Abu Dhabi, it doesn't feel like quite as crazy.
Yeah, they don't. It's like an etiquette thing. But I like everyone yelling.
No, because didn't Patty fight in London and that place was going bonkers?
Well, I know, but maybe not. Maybe London's different, but I know in Abu Dhabi because I know they hold boxing matches and that people don't clap.
Interesting. 949 says Sammy has no culture. What did you say to spawn that text?
I have no culture. I don't even know.
Do we need to take you to a play or something? Maybe a cocktail lounge?
What is that? I don't even know. I'm genuinely curious. Like, what spawned that?
949, please explain yourself. We'd love to hear it.
I think me breaking down tennis is very cultural.
I thought so. And you sounded like you knew what you were talking about. I have no way to judge whether you knew what you were talking about or not. I mean, I guess we'll find out tomorrow morning.
We'll find out. If Tiafoe is awful and loses in 2 sets, then you know what? We're probably going to do away with tennis.
All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. We got a whole nother hour of this coming up next.
Sammy has no culture.
Sammy's, I mean,
I went to UTC Mall. I went to a pottery game this weekend.
Look
went
at
to a bar.
Look at you.
That's culture. That's culture, baby.
All right. Hour number 2. We got the San Diego County Fair tickets on the line. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper, Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Give Gary a call today, 858-376-1299. That's 858-376-1299. My wife and I went up to Rancho Bernardo yesterday, had lunch with Gary at a San Diego barbecue institution, had a tri-tip sandwich. It was fantastic. And so did Gary. You can trust a guy that gets a tri-tip sandwich and a beer out at lunch. It was great hanging out with him and his wife, Karina, for a little bit. You should do the same. And you just go up to Rancho Bernardo and knock on the doors of Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty, and Gary will give you a degree in loanology. That's what he does, man. Gary eliminates the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. He's told you why. When you call 5 different companies, you get 5 different answers concerning interest rates, closing costs, and how no points, no cost loans really work. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. What I love about Gary Cooper and what really bleeds through when you talk to him, the guy is a San Diegan through and through. We were watching the Padres game yesterday, living and dying on every pitch. We were talking about the different communities and the different bars and the different little neighborhoods of San Diego, and the guy knows everything about it. Why would you trust someone from out of market with the biggest investment of your life, your home purchase and your home mortgage, who's not a San Diegan, especially if you're buying here in town? Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. Talk to him for 10 minutes, and I promise you'll be sold as well. He is my wife and I. He's our realtor. He is our mortgage guy. He is everything for us in our home buying process. And he's a buddy. Gary Cooper is an absolute friend. So give him a call today, 858-376-1299. Visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Make sure you let him know that Fletch sent you.
This sport is sponsored by Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival. The Padres start a 4-game set against San Francisco in the Bay Area. Padres bring a record of 33-24, where the Giants are 33-26. The Padres currently lead them 1 game for the second spot in the division. They are 2-0 against them on the season. Stephen Kolek will be going tonight, where Logan Webb for the Giants will be going for them. The Giants are currently minus 180 on the money line, and one of the top prospects in baseball will be getting called up for the Royals. Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival is happening June 20th through 22nd, featuring Walker Hayes, Cody Jinks, Alabama, and more. Tickets are available now at TemeculaValleyFestival.com, powering the best events from start to finish, events.com.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres got back on track at Petco.
High drive to deep left field for Machado. It's back, and it is very gone.
Now it's a trip up to the Bay versus the Giants. Let's make up some ground in the West. STFC gets stingy with Austin FC.
2-0 at Snapdragon Stadium, and surely that's 3 points.
And it's official. The Scarlet and Black are headed to the Pac-12 or the Pac-8. or the Pac-10.
You don't know who you are anymore.
We'll react to the move and see what's next for San Diego State. Now it's time to get in the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yeah, it is that time. It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. We sure do appreciate it. Hey, I had kind of a packed weekend this weekend. I was actually downtown Saturday night. Believe it or not, Saturday night, I'm downtown with my dad, my wife, and one of my dad's best friends. They're in town for a golf tournament.
How was Steakhouse?
Oh, it was amazing Saturday night. We went to Born and Raised, which if you've been there, you know just how incredible that place is. I did not follow Steve's advice. I did get whiskey, not red wine. Sue me.
I gotta be honest. I'm kind of with you on that.
Steve was right about 99% of the things he said, but whiskey at a steakhouse is the right way to go.
Yeah, you just feel there's something professional about it. You feel like this is what our ancestors used to do.
Maybe, probably not, but maybe. They didn't drink this good of stuff. I promise you that. It was swill back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's like you get a $17 bourbon and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So we did that Saturday night, but before that, we went out to Bub's, of course. You got to go to Bub's, get some tots, get a cocktail. And so we go to Bub's, and believe it or not, my next door neighbor is sitting at the table right next to us as soon as we got to Bub's. Small world. Craziness.
That's wild.
Yeah. But we also went to the new place downtown. Well, I don't know if you've been there yet, Sammy. Tom's Watch Bar, which it backs up into the little Gallagher Square area where kids play wiffle ball. And so a wiffle ball kid hit a home run, absolutely nuked it. And they got the big screen going where you could like actually watch what's going on the wiffle ball field. And the home run that he hit comes up, and drops right at our table.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it was hilarious. But
Did you give it back to the kid?
Yeah, we just threw it back to whatever intern was throwing pitches.
So I'd be take that thing home, sign autographs.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But if you haven't checked it out yet, it just opened up a little bit ago. But Tom's Watch Bar, I got the bourbon peach smash, and it was actually kind of fantastic.
Is that? I don't know if this is related, but the one in by Staples in LA.
I think it is the same place.
Okay,
and I think they have one in Minnesota too. And
okay, because I used to go to that one. That used to be the ESPN Zone in LA,
right?
And then it got changed to Tom's Watch Bar. It's a great spot.
It is. It's a cool spot. They got TVs everywhere. But if you're down in the gas lamp looking for a new place, there was someone else who was there before. I've been to that bar before, but it wasn't Tom's Watch Bar, and it was cool. But I do feel like it got a little bit of a face.
I got to check that out. We were at the Blind Burrow on Friday night before the game. But
Casa Machado's.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I got to get over there. That sounds fun.
Gaslamp is looking good these days. And then they had the Rock and Roll Marathon, which just caused traffic all over San Diego on, I think that was Saturday, maybe Sunday. But chaos this weekend in San Diego. It was good stuff. Padres won 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. All right, it's hour number 2. We got those San Diego County Fair tickets coming up in just a little bit. We got some Padres sound from Mike Schilt and a text from last Friday that actually works perfectly for today. We're going to mix all that in coming up. But right now it's time for the Big 3. Sammy Long's going to take us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Where we start in hour 2?
Deion Sanders just made headlines today. Said on Asante Samuel's podcast that he says it's foolish. It was ripping the narrative surrounding Shedeur Sanders before the draft. With all the stuff that came out about he was a jerk in interviews, wouldn't show up, basically tanked interviews against teams he didn't want to go to, kind of ripped this whole narrative. What is your reaction to this? And also, do you think Deion directly had a reason of why the fall happened?
I think Deion directly has a reason on why he's talking about all this right now. Look, so the biggest in-depth report came from Todd McShay, who, if you've been following football for a while, Todd McShay is pretty locked in. He said this, and I quote, Shedeur didn't have a great interview with Brian Daboll, that's the Giants head coach, in a private visit. An install package came in, preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it. He didn't like that. Brian Daboll didn't appreciate him not liking it. I don't know what happened in the pre-draft process. Guess what? None of us ever will. There is a reason that 32 teams, and I'm including the Cleveland Browns on this, waited so long for Shedeur Sanders. Is that Deion? Is that Shedeur kind of made an ass out of himself? Because I tell you what, if you're the Cleveland Browns and you want to make a splash in the NFL draft, drafting Shedeur Sanders is a splash in the NFL draft, and you could have done that a lot earlier than you did. You waited till 100 and did it end up being 155?
144. 144 or 155, something like that.
Something like that. Like, you waited a long time. Something was wrong with how he handled pre-draft interviews. I don't think it's all because of Deion Sanders. Because if an NFL team believes that A, he's going to make a difference on the field, B, he's going to make a difference in ticket sales, which I think both those things are true about Shedeur Sanders. Something must have dissuaded you from doing so. And that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. How many different teams were we looking at? The Saints.
The Giants were in on it.
Everyone had an opportunity.
The Jets possibly were thought to. This is my thing.
There's a reason he fell.
I do think Deion had a lot to do with this. I think it was the fact that teams don't want headaches. Like you notice, think of organizations like the Niners, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Steelers are like this. Ravens. Organizations don't want headaches. So they see a guy, they go, like Pittsburgh, it makes sense why they kind of dropped out on him. It's like, I don't want to deal with the headache of that brand, of the Sanders brand, because what's going to happen, and if I was Shedeur, I'd be like, Dad, stop talking. Just don't say anything. I appreciate you looking out for me. You're my guy. I get it.
But this is my career now.
This is my career now. And it plays into the whole narrative of teams going, listen, maybe all this is true. Maybe it's not. What I don't want is every Saturday when Colorado's playing, and some reporter from the Denver Post is going to go, hey, so what do you think about us as the Browns are off to an 0-4 start? Why is your son not playing? Why is Dylan Gabriel in? Or why is Kenny Pickett in? Or why is Joe Flacco in? They're going to ask. We know Deion Sanders. He might keep his mouth shut for a game or two, but at some point, he's going to say what he does. This kind of happened a lot with the Bronny LeBron situation. The hate that Bronny received wasn't really like Shedeur was obviously a better player than Bronny, was a lot more out there than Bronny, but LeBron saying, hey, my kid's better than half the guys in the Lakers right now, caused people to go, well, he's not better than half the guys on USC right now. So to think that he's better than half the Lakers lineup is beyond me. It kind of plays into this narrative. I'm sure a lot of NFL teams are kind of like, I don't want to deal with it, but I am rooting for the guy.
So am I. Look, I think Shedeur has an opportunity to do something hilarious, and that's just let his ball do the talk. And you're exactly right, Sammy. If I was Shedeur, I'm going to Deion and I'm saying, all right, give me a couple years where we're not fathers. We're still father son. You'll always have my back, and I get that, and I love and respect everything you've done. But for the next couple years, when you're in your post-game conferences, if anybody asks about me, just say you have to ask Shedeur.
Right, because all the teams are going to go, see? Yeah. This is exactly why we didn't take him.
So if Shedeur can have that conversation, and if Deion has the willpower to actually do that,
that's the other part.
That's the tricky part of things. And Shedeur just lets his ball do the talking. He can shut everyone up in an instant. And the Cleveland Browns are going to end up looking like geniuses. That entire front office is going to get fired because this was clearly an owner decision to draft him. But we'll see, man. I think that is the most fascinating thing heading into the season.
Completely. Getting to NBA, Miles Turner had some interesting comments after beating the Knicks in Game 6, moving on the NBA Finals. Neither team is really what you call a super team. There's no big three. You have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, superstar, and Tyrese Halliburton, who you can debate if he's in that realm or not. But he had some kind of comments that he's saying that he thinks that the super team is done. The end of the big three, the end of the Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, or the KD, Harden, and Kyrie. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's done, or do you think this is a temporary thing?
It's not done. You just need the right big three. Like the big three with the one you just pointed out, LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh. You know why that worked? Because it was a really, really good 2 and an all-time 1. And they all knew their roles on that team. D Wade was already one of the best players in basketball when LeBron came over and when Chris Bosh came over.
One of the best guards of all time.
Yeah, and D Wade took a back seat because he knew that the best scorer in the world was on his team, so he was going to give the ball up to LeBron. That was also the best LeBron has ever looked, was on that team. KD, Durant, Curry. Oh, what did I just say? KD, Curry, Thompson,
Harden,
Draymond, which those were the big
Warriors,
three, right? With the Warriors. Steph Curry, one of the most lethal, if not, well, definitely the most lethal shooters of all time, took a back seat because he knew Kevin Durant was a better scorer. That's the only way this works. You need to have the 3 right personalities. If you're talking about Kyrie, KD, and James Harden, that's not going to work. Yeah, it's a big 3. It's a big 3 of talent, but it's a big 3 of chaotic egos who aren't going to share the ball correctly. It could still work. You just need to find the right personalities.
Totally agree. I mean, you see that with think of Curry. We got to give Curry a lot of credit. Curry was the guy, had won a ring. Arguably, I think you could say he's the greatest shooter of all time. I know people want to debate Bird or him, but what he's accomplished, he's one of the all-time.
It's Curry.
It's Curry. It's one of the all-time best players of all time. And he was able to realize that, yeah, Kevin Durant is better than me at this moment. So I'm going to be the number 2. And if Steph Curry's your 2, you're winning titles because that's lethal. It kind of got in this narrative of, you had the Spurs with Tim Duncan and Manu and Parker. So it was like you needed 3. And then it was Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. And to the ego part of it, I think you've seen a shift. Like even those Kobe Shaq teams, it was a big two with a lot of really good players. You had Rick Fox and a lot of guys. And then the
Robert Ory, Derek Fisher,
Robert
God, those
Ory.
teams were sick.
Then D Fish and with Powell and Kobe, if they were the big two, and then you had D Fish and Artest and all that stuff and Sasha Vujacic. But like the Nuggets, we've seen the last couple of years, they had a big two, Jokic and Murray. And then you filled it out with guys KCP, your Bruce Brown, things like that. You pay Michael Porter Jr. as a max salary, all of a sudden we're not winning a title anymore. Both these teams are very complete. They're very deep rosters. And I wouldn't call Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren superstars yet.
All right, but both these teams, put them up against the 2008 Miami Heat.
Right, they get run.
Both these teams, put them up against the Golden State Warriors at, what was that, 2017, 2018?
2017, yeah.
Put these two teams up against that. It's not even a competition.
Yeah.
So
Kobe Shaq would destroy them.
Kobe Shaq would destroy them.
Teams would destroy. Yeah.
So the big three could still very well work. I don't know that the NBA currently has the personalities to make it work. I'll be honest. You got a couple of guys in different markets that I think could be a part of one. I don't know that you could put any of the three of them together and make it happen. You need a Dwayne Wade. You need a Steph Curry.
And you need a, what did all those teams have? Popovich. Spoelstra doesn't get enough credit. Phil Jackson, great head coaches that were able to keep the egos in check. If you ever, like when they put Steve Nash in Brooklyn with that big three, I mean, Steve Nash, love Steve Nash, one of the most fun players to watch of all time. Never been a coach for. Ridiculous. Quickly, third story, Scotty Scheffler wins the Memorial back-to-back. First player, or I think only player ever since Tiger to do it. I mean, where are we at with Scotty? This guy is just on an absolute tear recently.
He's just got to keep it going for another like 2 or 3 years, and then he can start matching Tiger numbers. Then he can start being in that conversation. Scotty is damn impressive. I think the most impressive part wasn't that he's won 3 out of the last 4 tournaments. It wasn't that he was tied once again going into the final day, and then he wins it on the final day. The most impressive part was that the dude was minus 320 heading into the final day. So you would have had to bet $100 to make $32. I think I did that right. Minus 320 heading into the final day. He was tied to start the day. That doesn't happen in golf. That doesn't happen since the Tiger days. So Scotty Scheffler, this run that he's on, do you know that over the last month, Scotty Scheffler has won as many golf tournaments as the Colorado Rockies have won games?
No shot.
Scotty Scheffler's won 3 out of the last 4 golf tournaments. The Colorado Rockies have won 3 of their last 20 baseball games.
Just unbelievable. I mean,
the Rockies are they haven't got 10 wins yet. I think they're at 9.
9-50. They still like an all-time low. I mean, quickly, look at Scotty. You have Ben Griffin, who was playing excellent golf recently.
He won the week prior.
And had a lead for most of the day. And then, on 18, when Scotty passed him and he had the shot, it was like, this thing's over. And I mean, Scotty's having the not quite Tiger yet, but Tiger, I believe it was the U.S. Open. He was minus 125 versus the field to win the tournament. That is of a field of 80 people?
Yeah.
Or more. To be a minus favorite. Scotty and Rory at the Masters were co-favorites at like plus 250. You're still getting plus 250 odds. I mean, if they have one bad day, they're off. Scotty's on an unreal run right now, and they shouldn't have arrested him, man. They unleashed a demon on this course ever since then.
That's a great point. It really is. By the way, U.S. Open, you just mentioned it. It's coming up June 12th through the 15th out at Oakmont. It's going to be amazing this year. People are going through qualifiers right now, getting ready for it. I cannot wait. That is one of my favorite weekends of the year, along with the Masters, along with the NCAA tournament. U.S. Open is always a lot of fun. Last year, tons of drama. This year, it is going to be Scotty versus the field. I can't wait for those numbers to come out, what they're going to be. But hopefully we get a great leaderboard, which this weekend was sneaky. Great leaderboard, man. This was a fun weekend of golf. All right, quick break. On the other side, we are going to give away those San Diego County Fair tickets, so keep listening. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. We got San Diego County Fair tickets coming up in just about 5 minutes for the Summer Pet-tacular from June 11th through July 6th. For a limited time only, the Del Mar Fairgrounds transforming to a pet lover's paradise. Our community's fair, the biggest bash of the summer in San Diego and the best deal in town. We'll celebrate the bonds between humans and their pets. Join us for thrilling rides, challenging games, mouth-watering foods, incredible exhibits, and top-notch entertainment during our Summer Pet-tacular at the 2025 San Diego County Fair. For tickets and info, go to sdfair.com. 2 Chainz and Lil Jon going to be at the San Diego Fair this year.
That might be a must.
Yeah, my wife wants to go really bad.
She a big rap fan?
She likes 2 Chainz a lot. That is our college time. 2 Chainz was the guy.
It's funny, 2 Chainz gets forgot about a little bit when you talk about like
2 Chainz, but I got me a few on. That's all I know. Sammy, I live my life by those words. I'm pretty sure those were in the Bible.
We need to do one day in the dog days of summer when there's not a lot to talk about. Like maybe MLB All-Star Week, which is, the most exciting week in sports radio of all time. We do top rappers. I'm curious what your list would be.
You know what I do during MLB All-Star Week?
Vacation?
No, I pop open my computer and I say 93 days, 10 hours, 38 minutes, and 15 seconds until the start of the 2025 NFL season.
Dude, I can't even they're at OTAs right now.
I know.
It's so beautiful when you just see football.
Does your social media feed do the same thing mine does? As soon as this time of year clicks over, all of a sudden it's slow motion passes of Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson just throwing dimes down the field to different players. By the way, they did get the combination of treats in the Stephon Diggs video, what it was that he was handing out.
What was it?
The texter was right.
Oh, pink cocaine with codeine?
It was a mixture of a couple different things, but cocaine was part of it.
Shout out to, I believe it was 619, who knew exactly what it was right on that immediately.
Says a lot about you, 619. That's all I'm going to say.
Well-rounded person.
But yeah, they figured it out somehow. I think it was a bunch of internet sleuths, and now he is back at OTAs as of today. Mike Vrabel not happy about this, and that storyline just keeps unfolding.
Well, if he's giving out cocaine, isn't he going to be arrested?
I don't know that that's officially come down. It was all gone by the time they got back, so there was nothing to test.
So they had a good time?
Yeah, but I see this story and it's going on over here on way off to the right, but then over on the left you get videos of actual football, and that's what I care about. So I've been scrolling past the Stephon Diggs stuff to get to the football stuff.
Well, I saw a report that they're talking about possibly cutting him. There's an out in the deal because you can get out of it when you do something like this. It's not.
You mean illegal?
Illegal.
Yeah. I mean, who knows with Stephon Diggs? They paid him way too much money. This might be the perfect excuse for them to get out of it. But yeah, we've started. We set our dynasty draft for our fantasy football league. We are all set for football, but that's not here yet. That's still 93 days out. So what we got right now is an NBA Finals beginning on Thursday. And the hope that the NBA has to be having right now is they are crossing their fingers. They're kneeling down by their bedside at night. They're looking up and saying, please let this thing go 7. Please let there be multiple viral, controversial moments that get people to watch these games because it's Indiana and it's OKC. And this might be worst case scenario for the NBA. I actually think it's going to be a pretty good series. I think Indiana coming into this one is a little bit disrespected. And every time they've been a little bit disrespected this year, they have answered the call. OKC on the other side, what did we say about them coming into the postseason? They're a really, really great regular season team. They're really, really great in blowouts. Can they be really good when the pressure's at its highest? I think we're going to find all that out. That mixed with the virality of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Every time he goes to the hoop, he's faking getting fouled. And that's become a talking point around NBA circles. Will this be officiated differently and maybe lean back to the Pacers' way? I actually think this is going to be a pretty good series.
I'm excited for it. I think the Pacers are a much more live dog than the bettors would say. Again, they deserve to be the favorite. Oklahoma City, they're 29-1 against the Eastern Conference, which is beyond. The only loss came to Cleveland, who would happen to be the 1 seed in the East. So loaded teams. I heard Rick Bucher on with McIntyre on Colin's show earlier today. He had an interesting point about how Halliburton and Shea, what are the two things they have in common? they both played for previous teams. They both were, Shea was with the Clippers, Halliburton was with the Kings, and they got traded. It's funny how Anthony Edwards, we've kind of cornered, and I love watching Anthony Edwards. I think he's going to be a superstar, but we've kind of cornered Anthony Edwards as he doesn't have anything to prove. He can be the alpha on a championship winning team. And it's almost like he kind of pointed out how you have to have that kind of motivation to get there, the disrespect. I mean, think about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was cast off by the Clippers, and Halliburton had the same thing, and then was voted most overrated before the playoffs began, and has time and time again come up in the biggest moments against some of the best teams, Cleveland and the Knicks. The NBA needs to lean into the fact that we're going to have a new superstar in the league and try to sell that. Because you're right, if you just sell Oklahoma City and Indiana, you better hope the series is good, because if they win in 5 games or 4, that's going to be horrible ratings.
All of a sudden, the NBA is going to be back there crossing their fingers for a Malice in the Palace, something to get people to watch. Man,
something's going to have to pop off.
This is going to be either really, really good or really, really bad. All right, take a quick break. On the other side, we got sound from Mike Schilt and a text to go along with it. If you ever want to text the show, 70470, start your message with team. And we just got this text about the memorial that I do have a take about. And I do want to get to it, 747. So keep holding on for just a little bit. Right now, your chance to win San Diego County Fair tickets, a 4-pack of them for the Summer Pet-tacular. Tickets at sdfair.com. Caller number 7, you're going to the fair on us here at San Diego Sports 760, 877-767-4760. Call right now for a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Coming up next, sound from Mike Schilt regarding Gavin Sheets and his health. That's next on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This was sponsored by Wendy's new Frosty Flavors. Padres 4-game road trip up in the Bay, taking on the Giants, who currently they have a 1-game lead over for the second spot in the division. Stephen Kolek will be going for the Padres tonight, while Logan Webb, the ace for San Francisco, will be going there. San Francisco is currently minus 175 on the money line, and that game will get going at 6:45. And Stephon Diggs, over the controversial video that surfaced over the weekend of him on a yacht handing out a particular substance, is back at OTAs for the Patriots. Love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla Frosty flavors, announcing all new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors. The same creamy treat you love, now with the flavor refresh. Refresh on a classic, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Congratulations to Vince, who just won those San Diego County Fair tickets. John and Jim will have another shot for you coming up a little bit later on. We're going to have those tickets all week long here on the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760. All right, couple texts I want to react to. We're going to start with the Padres. This actually came in on our show last Friday, and believe it or not, it's more applicable today. But this was from the 858. There is absolutely no reason to believe anything the Padres have ever said about player injuries. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yu Darvish was supposed to be ready to go for the beginning of the season. Well, it's June 2nd. Where's Yu Darvish at? Throwing a bullpen? Great. We'll see when he actually gets back with the team. But yesterday, Gavin Sheets runs into the wall. Looks like he might have done a lot of damage to the wall. It's tough in baseball when you see the full face imprint going into the wall out in left field. But Gavin Sheets runs into the wall, comes out of the game. They're evaluating him for concussion, a hip injury, a wrist injury, all sorts of things. And so we did get an update today from Mike Schilt. Let's see if we believe it. Sammy, you got that ready to rock in a second? Let's hit it.
Actually just got through texting with some of our medical people and Gavin himself. And, he's thankfully looks like he's, going to clear everything from the head standpoint, which is the primary concern. And then, got some other things with the hip and a little bit of wrist and thumb. So he's, all things being said, he's doing okay. We'll see about his availability today, but looks like, short term, he's going to be okay.
Gavin Sheets out for the season, confirmed. Everything Mike Schilt said was way too positive. No, so it sounds like he cleared concussion protocol. That's what I got out of that. And now they're still dealing with some hip stuff, maybe dealing with some wrist stuff, but it sounds like, if we believe him, Mike Schilt is saying Gavin Sheets went through all the concussion testing. He missed that, so he will be not on the 7-day IL.
Well, and what's like hearing about the hip stuff as well, you'd love to give Gavin Sheets a day off. Fortunately for the Padres that they signed him, and he's been one of the most consistent players in the entire lineup all year. But unfortunately, the rest of the bats haven't really been contributing. Yesterday, we're taking that out because they really got going on Sunday. And hopefully that's something they can really take into San Francisco. But you'd love to get Gavin Sheets a day off. They're going to need the pitching. Kolek going tonight against Webb. Padres aren't favored in this one because that is their ace. Logan Webb has been doing it for years. It's fantastic. Hopefully Kolek can at least give the Padres some length, even if they were to drop this game. Hopefully they win tonight. But even if they were, Kolek doesn't get touched up early, so then they have to go to the bullpen in a crucial 4-game series. And then either the Padres kind of have the pitching advantage going in later in the week. But yeah, Gavin Sheets, hoping he's okay because they're certainly going to need his bats up there. And what Willard was saying about neither team's really swinging the bat all that well, so something's got to give tonight.
Neither team's scoring runs right now. That's what Willard was saying. Last thing on Gavin Sheets playing left field. I almost hesitate to say this because obviously there are seasoned outfielders who run into the wall and injure themselves. Gavin Sheets is not a left fielder. Gavin Sheets is out there out of necessity. Is there a chance that if you had, I don't know, a left fielder playing left field, you avoid this problem entirely? Sure.
Completely.
But the Padres are just out of possibilities right now. Jason Hayward was a failed disaster. Lockridge has either been hurt or not performing at the plate. So they're kind of going to Gavin Sheets out of necessity. But if you had a left fielder out there who's used to playing the position, do they not find the wall a little bit sooner? Do they not avoid this entire problem?
I mean, they were hitting Padres left fielders. I saw a stat as of a couple days ago. It's shifted a little bit. Was hitting 128 with 3 home runs on the year.
It's brutal.
I mean, that's unacceptable.
And they're like all from Gavin Sheets.
They're all from Gavin Sheets. And Gavin Sheets, even though he's not some great left fielder, he at least gives you something on the batting end. There's not like you have some great outfielder in there. It's like Like the Dodgers do this with Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas isn't a good hitter. He never really has been, especially now late in his career. He's out there because he's one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. The Padres don't have someone like that that's so good out there, so might as well play the guy that can at least put the ball in play and has been consistent all year. But this 4-game stretch, man, this is crucial.
I do think the Padres, the last time they faced Logan Webb, which was earlier this year here in San Diego, I think they did touch him up a little bit. Now, Logan Webb's a really good pitcher. He's been the ace in San Francisco for at least a few years now. But hopefully they could have some continued success. All right, we got this other text off of our golf conversation from the 747 that says, I like what Jack said about his own tournament. It would have been nice if there was some competition for Scotty. I could have placed with those amateurs yesterday. All right, so Jack Nicklaus, this is his tournament, the memorial that he does every year. It's at his golf course. The course, by the way, which was brutal. They had the rough way overgrown. You couldn't even see. And guys like Max Homa had a complete meltdown yesterday on his final 18. But what Jack said after the round was he was talking about Ben Griffin, Sepp Strapka, and one other guy who were at the top of the leaderboard towards the end of the day. And he said he was essentially saying it'd be nice if some guys like Xander Schauffele, some Shane Lowry, some more recognizable names were up there giving Scotty a run at the end of it. It's not just about that. It's not just about the fact that Xander Schauffele didn't show up to play. It's that half of the best players in the world don't play on the PGA Tour. Half of the best players in the world don't even have an opportunity to play in this golf tournament. So like Sammy, we were talking about the Tiger Woods comparison earlier today and how Scotty Scheffler is quite literally the only other person in history since Tiger Woods to even be put in the same conversation of consecutive weeks at world number 1. He's about halfway to Tiger's record. But Scotty Scheffler is the only person you could have ever made that argument about. Here's the problem. When Tiger was doing it, the other best players in the world were also playing on the PGA Tour. Right now, it is Scotty, it is
there's
Rory,
no asterisks.
and there's nobody else, man. It's like you're looking around. Ben Griffin, great, cool. Glad he's at the top. Glad he's playing well.
To that point, into a broader thing about sports that are solo. Tennis is on right now, boxing, UFC, golf, where you're playing individual sports. What do we love about baseball? We know that even though this Padre team has struggled at times, it can be frustrating with how the amount of talent they have. We know that if they get in, they're going to be a tough out for somebody in baseball. I mean, we've seen time and time again, the Diamondbacks a few years ago get hot, go all the way to the World Series. The Padres almost take out the Dodgers. The Dodgers go on to win the World Series. So it's like, there's kind of a shot for everyone. It's funny in solo sports where you have someone who's so much more dominant than everyone else, AKA Tiger. And to your point, there was the other best players were playing at the time. This has hurt boxing for years. Guys would not fight each other. All with the gazillion belts in boxing, they wouldn't fight each other. They'd fight a contender that you knew that even they had to have their best night and and the champ had to have their worst night for them to lose, and they still might not get the decision. It's tennis. There's certain guys that you know do not have a shot to win this thing. It does suck when golf, like it's fun. That's why the Masters was so great.
You have everybody.
Rory, DeChambeau, Scotty was making a run. You're like, these are names people know with a sport, solo sports where you need name recognition to really carry ratings. That's why the Masters was so electric and averaged like 20 million people on the final day.
And look, this was a $20 million purse tournament. This is one of the big boys that the PGA Tour had to make because of the live separation. They had to do something to incentivize guys to stay. So Scotty's walking away with $4 million. I think Ben Griffin cashed for like 1.2. The top 4 were all in the $1 million range. This is a big tournament. And if you're telling me that if Scotty was on the same run of dominance while Brooks Koepka was there, while John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Cam Smith, while all the live guys were playing in the PGA Tour, then we're having a conversation about Scotty or Tiger. But right now, unfortunately, it's just not there. Tiger was playing against Ernie Els at his peak, Vijay Singh at his peak, Phil Mickelson at his peak. Scotty does not have that same competition around him right now. Hopefully there's a merger coming where we get to see all these guys competing on a weekly basis, because that is what makes golf good. What makes golf great is when all the guys are playing on the same course at the same time, and you are seeing legendary leaderboards week in and week out, not just 4 times a year, which is what we're getting right now. So I'll get off my soapbox on that one. But just a quick thought I had, and Jack was thinking the same thing. I know it. He just didn't say the quiet part out loud like I just did. But you know, Jack Nicklaus is sitting there thinking, oh my God, how much better would this tournament, my baby on my course, be if we actually had the best players in the world out there? With that being said, congratulations, Scotty. Dude's on a hell of a run. 3 out of the last 4 tournaments. He had a baby full of poop right after he got off the 18th green. Baby had a blowout. If you don't know what that is, it's when the diaper is not doing its job
I'm
properly.
sorry to anyone who's on their lunch break.
Yeah, we're sorry about that one, especially if you're eating chili. I am very sorry, but that's just, it was a great moment for Scotty and his family, and he cashed another $4 million check, and that's great. But how much better would it be if he's beating the best players in the world while he does it? Speaking of, Rory, can we step up your game a little bit? You don't just get to win one Masters and then fade away.
He's waiting for the Scottish Open or whatever.
I'm sure he is. All right, take our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap this thing up, get you ready for John and Jim, get you a little preview of Giants and Padres going down a little bit later today up in the Bay Area, and kind of set you off on the right direction here on a Monday. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 coming up on Wednesday at 6 o'clock right here. It is SDFC Midweek Live here from the head coach, Mikey Varis, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information. SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Saturday, nice win for SDFC playing against Austin FC here in San Diego. 2-0 was the final score. Chucky Lozano goes out with another hamstring injury. Hopefully we get some good news on him coming up. Maybe you'll hear that news on SDFC Midweek Live this Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. Bummer that Chucky is injured once again, but a really good night of soccer for the boys. All right, Sammy, we got some breaking Padres news. Kevin Acee has been tweeting. Is that correct?
Yes, he has. Padres, so Ryan Burkhart will be on the taxi squad for tonight's game, so won't be playing. He's likely going to be pitching tomorrow against the Giants, so game 2. So Kolek, Burkhart, games 1 and 2. Probably not going to be favored in those games. If you could pick off one of them, knowing that you got Cease going later in this series. Again, the thing here is just win the series against the Giants. The Giants are probably going to win a game or so. They're a good ball club in their home park. But the fact that the Padres are already up 2-0 on the season series, and I know people are going to go, it's June. Why are you looking at tiebreakers? Because it matters. Because the NL West is so tight. The Diamondbacks are starting to fall out. You don't want to be losing tiebreakers to the Giants, especially knowing you got the Brewers, Dodgers twice, 7 games over 10 days, and then the Diamondbacks, who are still a good ball club, will be fighting for the wild card. So crucial couple games coming up here for the Padres.
You sure on that pronunciation?
Brent told me it was Burkhart. I went to ask Jim. I was like, it's not Burkhart. It's like Kevin Burkhart.
Well, it's spelled Bergert. This is not his first appearance with the Padres this year. He's actually been in 4 games so far coming out of the pen. He has not given up a run. He played against the Rays on April 26, 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, no runs. Played against the Pirates on May 2nd, May 5th, and 6th against the Yankees. 1 inning pitched each time. Has not given up a run yet. Has hit a batter so far this year, so we got that going for us. I'm going to put my money on Ryan Burkhart.
Okay, if it's wrong, we love Brent, but blame Brent because I just went out and asked him.
And now I'm getting confused because I do remember Don Orsillo welcoming him into a game, and I don't think it's Burkhart.
Well, we're gonna figure out tonight or tomorrow because he's gonna be pitching. He's gonna be on the mound.
Maybe I'm off on this one.
Yeah, maybe you're messing everything.
It could be me. I got my money on Burkhart
because I've already mispronounced enough names. I got Imanaga wrong, which I said right there. Who else did I mess up? Oh, I messed up Primatine.
Yeah, the mist for people with asthma.
People. Shout out to our listeners, man, really keeping me in check. They were on me for getting that right for a couple weeks.
70470. Start your message with team Burkhart, or what'd you say? Burkhart.
Brent told me Burkhart. I mean, like Kevin Burkhart, like the announcer.
Brent says, yeah, but Kevin Burkhart is spelled like Kevin Burkhart.
I know, but this is because they're not spelled the same. You get people say caramel, some people say caramel.
That's a good point. Some say tomato, some say tomato. Spelled the same way. Who knows?
Look at us.
Maybe Europeans are weird. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We gave out San Diego Fair tickets today. Those went to our buddy Vince. We gave out Dirks Bentley tickets. Those went to Ruben. Hell yeah, dude. Good show today. Sammy had a long shots a little bit earlier. If you missed it, Sammy's going to run through those picks in just a little bit. But the Padres kicking off this 3-game series against or 4-game series, against the San Francisco Giants up in the Bay Area. It's important, man. I know that we get trapped in the June 2nd, in the May and the Aprils about being early in a baseball season. We're not early anymore. We are in the bulk of it. And right now, it does feel like today is reopening day because now you got this stretch of games where you're actually playing teams in your division, the NL West, which, by the way, is the best division in baseball so far this season. So as you look at the next few series, you got the Giants, then you got the Brewers, then the Diamondbacks, then the Dodgers.
Then Diamondbacks,
Dodgers. Right. It's an important time for the Padres. The hope is that team that showed up from the 7th inning on yesterday, that showed up this weekend and kind of got back to being the grit squad, the team that's battling on every single play, is the team you see over the next, month? Because this next month, you are playing high-level Major League Baseball competition that we expect to see most, if not all of these teams in the postseason this year.
And I think there's something to that because, I mean, we talked about it opening the show. It was disappointing only going 4-2 against the Marlins and the Pirates. Not that it was bad. It wasn't great, though, considering the Dodgers played the Guardians on the road, who were runner-ups in the AL, and then the Yankees were in the World Series and went 4-2. You thought you could have gained a game there, but there is something to be said for sometimes, especially in baseball. I mean, you see this in the NBA all the time. You see sometimes on a random Tuesday night where you're in Orlando playing the Magic and then you're playing the primetime game against Boston. people get up for that game. It happens to the Lakers all the time. Whenever the Lakers come to town, people get up for the game. It's a big deal. When the Padres now are going on a schedule where you're playing a rival in the Giants, playing rivals in the Dodgers, then the Diamondbacks, there's something to be said for in a baseball season that is 162 games and could fall into that trap of, well, it's early. Well, I mean, you could lose 5 straight games and you're not out of it. Kind of taking it more seriously, upping the competition could focus this team sometimes, because I do think focus has been a problem at times during this team. And when you're playing elite competition, that can go away and they can kind of lock in.
The fact that the Padres still have not played against the Dodgers this year is a little bit baffling.
Well, Willard said that it's
bizarre. They played against the Giants once, and have they played the Diamondbacks? I don't think so.
No, they've only played the Rockies and the Giants in a 2-game set, by the way. So the Giants, it starts tonight, and then you clump it all together. This also doesn't make sense too, because baseball, again, what do you need? You need storylines.
We're more than a third of the way through the season, and the biggest rivalries in baseball have not even happened yet.
In the series with the second highest ratings in the playoffs, with the Dodgers and Padres, only second to Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series.
Dodgers and Yankees, 2 biggest markets in the country.
Right. So the fact that Dodgers, Padres, 2 teams that are within 2 hours of driving of each other, could get kids in Orlando or people in Washington, D.C. to care. Because most people thought, well, I mean, why would, if you lived in the Midwest, why would you care about Padres Dodgers? Because you saw the hate that these 2 franchises have for each other. That's great for baseball. I mean, I don't like the Red Sox or the Yankees, but when the Red Sox and Yankees would play, you want to tune in.
It's a big series. No, and this is Manny Machado preseason puts up the comments about, yeah, we want to beat him. We think we can. We have the firepower to do so. Like, these are all bulletin board material for fans to jump on board. And whether you hate Manny Machado or love Manny Machado, there's plenty of people both ways across the entire country. That's something to tune in for. And I can't wait to see what this team does. It does feel like the exact thing for Fernando Tatis Jr. to get going again is to play against some damn competition who he's familiar with, to play against some competition that he doesn't like, that he wants to get that piss and vinegar going for. And the Giants, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, that's exactly who that is. And that's what the Padres have coming up. It feels like reopening day here. We're a third of the way through the season. The next 2/3 are going to be a little more important than the first one. So can the Padres keep this going? Can they get back into form? That's what's important.
And real quickly, there's something to be said for it happening now, knowing that however this works out, maybe the Padres go on a nice little win streak, have a good winning record. We're coming out of this going, hey, look at those Padres, how they played against the NL West, or the other way where we're going, they have problems. You can go address this at the deadline where it's not after it and you're kind of screwed with what you have.
All right. I will say, if you've been listening to the show the last couple of months, you've heard me talk about Gary Cooper quite a bit, Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Went and had lunch with Gary and his wife yesterday, along with my wife. We went to Phil's Barbecue, which is a great spot up in Rancho Bernardo. God, that's
my haunt, dude. I didn't know you were right there. I would have popped down.
Oh, that tri-tip sandwich is so good. But we hung out with Gary for a little bit, and he kind of passed along. He was like, look, just tell your people to call me. We'll figure something out. We know the housing market's insane right now. So you, my people, talking to you, if you want to buy a new home, if you want to invest in some investment property, he's got some great ones up in Big Bear. If you want to refinance your line, or your mortgage, if you want to take some money out of your house, Gary Cooper has the tools for all of that. 858-376-1299. Tell him that Fletch sent you, and he's going to hook you up. I promise you. MountainTrustMortgage.com for more information. What you got, Sammy?
We're just got some text rolling in. Remember, long shots. Francis Tiafoe. Over 16.5 games won. Tyler has a great suggestion on the text line. He said it's.
Can we pause real quick? What does that even mean in tennis? More than 16.5 total games won.
It's the individual. So like, you have to win, like within
this is all within one match.
Yeah. So you have to win like. Okay, now I'm breaking down tennis. It's like within a set, because you win a set, then there's games within the set. So you could win a set 7-5, something like that. Anyway, for anyone, we're gambling. Okay, so you can look it up. Tyler recommended a wake and bake session because the match is at 5 a.m.
What does that mean, Tyler?
I'm not saying do it. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just saying it's not the worst thing in the world. I have to work tomorrow. Maybe you're off tomorrow.
You have to work tomorrow. You get to work tomorrow. No, this is a pleasure. What we do on a daily basis.
When did I say it wasn't a pleasure? I love doing this.
All right, we are out of here. John and Jim are coming up next. Plenty more Padres talk with the two of them. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. This is the return of Jim Russell. Do we need to applaud? Do we need confetti?
He got bit by a mosquito or something. I'm a little nervous about Zika virus being in the studio.
Well, 4 hours of complaining coming your way. John and Jim next. San Diego Sports 760.